So now that every team is pretty much around 7 to 10 games into their season, for the most part, I think we can start getting a feel of what is what in the NBA. And yes, there are a few exceptions to this. For example, some teams like the Houston Rockets that got out to extremely bad starts this year, we know that's not going to stay the same. And then there are other teams on the other end of that spectrum, such as the Sacramento Kings, who are actually doing pretty good, that are 5-3 on the year right now. But because of how bad they've been in the past, it's still way too early to say that this is about to be the new norm for Sacramento this year. But like I said, for the most part, I think now we can get a pretty good idea of where teams and players are going to be at for the rest of the season. And the players are the people that I want to talk about today, because there were a few players all season that I was pretty excited to see play this year, and I know a lot of other people were excited to see too, because we were getting articles and interviews out regarding these players where they were basically talking like they were about to be the next best thing, really use this season to make a name for themselves in the NBA, be candidates for the most improved player award, just in general have a breakout season. However, so far that just hasn't been the case, and these players for the most part have looked like the same exact players that they were for the rest of their career, which is disappointing. So that's going to be the main topic for today's video. We're going to be talking about some of the players that have been the most disappointing so far this NBA season before we get into everything else that we had to talk about from last night. And the first one is Myles Turner. And I actually had to give props to this guy for how disappointing he has managed to be, because out of all these players, Myles Turner was supposed to be the closest thing to a sure thing to having a breakout year. Literally everyone had Myles Turner pinned to have a breakout season. NBA fans, media outlets, coaches, GMs, owners, ball boys, other players, anyone that even knew what the sport of basketball was, thought that Myles Turner was going to be really good this year, since we were getting reports and articles out saying that he was training with Victor Oladipo's trainer, and we even got the physical evidence via the body transformation that Myles Turner pulled off this summer. And then on top of that, he was at the Team USA minicamp training and playing with some of the greatest players in the league. And right before the season started, the Pacers decided to reward him for the hard work that he put in for the offseason, giving him a 4-year, $72 million contract. So yeah, all of the signs were pointing towards Myles Turner becoming a great player. However, so far this season, Myles Turner has been the exact same player that he was last year, if not even worse. And that's what really blows my mind, because we see the guy transformed his body. We got all the articles out about him putting in the work this offseason. So for him to somehow come back even worse, I won't comprehend that. Myles Turner right now is averaging just 11.5 points and not even 6 rebounds per game. Granted, he has never been a good rebounding big since he first entered the league, but still 5.5 rebounds per game, that's atrocious. And on top of that, he's only shooting 20% from deep compared to the nearly 36% that he shot from deep last year. And it's not even just the fact that his stats aren't improved. I just wanted him to come back a better rebounder and a more consistent offensive player. That's all that he had to do, and so far he got worse in both of those categories. Once again, I don't understand how. Next up though is DAngelo Russell. After Devin Booker received his massive contract extension, we started to get reports out about DAngelo Russell over the summer. And these reports were saying extremely good things, talking about how D'Lo says that the contract of Devin Booker has motivated him to become a better player, to start putting in the work over the offseason, with DAngelo Russell himself even saying this: "I mean, the greatest plays ever, honestly. Like you said, motivation. I see my best friend sign a max deal. I know where it came from, so that's plenty of motivation that I need. I wake up every morning and go train. I feel like I'm in my best shape. I don't know, the sky is the limit." How could you not be excited about a player like DAngelo Russell when you hear him saying things like that, knowing all of the potential that this guy had? He was the 2nd overall pick in his draft class. He didn't have the best start in LA. We all give him a pass because of all the drama and extra stuff that was going on in LA at the time. And then when he was traded to Brooklyn, we all thought that this was going to be the perfect opportunity for him. No, not even thought, it was the perfect opportunity for him, since Brooklyn was in desperate need of a young star. And DAngelo Russell was supposed to be that young star. However, in his first year with the team, he wasn't anything special when he was healthy. Granted, he did have a very hard time staying healthy. On top of that, he was even benched from time to time in favor of Spencer Dinwiddie by the Nets head coach. But still, regardless of all of that, the potential was there. It still is there. However, if there was ever going to be a year for him to unleash that potential, this was supposed to be the year. But clearly he hasn't done it yet, because if he has done it, I wouldn't be talking about him in this video. Because so far, Spencer Dinwiddie has still been the best point guard for the Brooklyn Nets. That's why Kenny Atkinson turned to Spencer Dinwiddie in late game situations. With the game on the line, when the Brooklyn Nets need to play, DAngelo Russell will be sitting on the bench with Spencer Dinwiddie making the decisions, because Spencer Dinwiddie is much better at making decisions, and he's a much more consistent player than DAngelo Russell is. And as of right now, D'Lo seems to be the exact same player that he was last year, averaging 15 points and 5 assists per game. Now, this isn't me saying that he's a bad player. He's not. He's definitely not a bad player. He's just a long ways off of what we all thought he was going to be this season and in general. Next up on the list, though, is one of my own, Stanley Johnson. I have been holding out faith for Stanley Johnson since he was drafted into the NBA. He has the body, he has the explosiveness, he has the athleticism, and overall, he has all of the physical tools needed to be a dominant wing in this league, be one of the best two-way players in the NBA. He's already a great defender, but two-way, meaning that he had to be great on the offensive end too. And let me just tell you, Stanley Johnson on the offensive end, it's something to watch, or not to watch, if you like to watch players that are good on the offensive end. And like I said, this pains me so much because I want him to be great. I really want him to be great, but he hasn't been. He's been a huge disappointment on the offensive end this season. On the offensive end, he's literally been the same player his entire career. He hasn't gotten any better since he first came into the league. He still has trouble finishing around the rim, especially in traffic. And when it comes to three-point shooting, he can't shoot. The man can't shoot. And what's strange about it is whenever he does shoot a three, especially this year, it seems like it's either an air ball or it goes in. There's no in between. Air ball or goes in, and more often than not, it's an air ball. And just whenever he touches the ball in offense this year, I find myself doing some type of prayer that nothing goes horribly wrong. And lastly on this list, we have Ben Simmons. And this one hurts a lot because I am a huge Ben Simmons fan, but if I did not put him on this list, I'd be being biased. I couldn't not put him on the list because, let's face facts here, Ben Simmons has been disappointing this year. Now, he is still a phenomenal NBA player, a walking triple-double, yes, but he's disappointing. Do you know why? Because the man still cannot shoot a basketball. Markelle Fultz forgot how to shoot completely last year, and all of a sudden made more threes in his career already than Ben Simmons has. It's inexcusable. And this isn't me saying that I expected Ben Simmons to come in this year being a knockdown shooter, especially from distance. No, I didn't expect Ben Simmons to be making or taking threes this year. However, what I did expect from Ben Simmons was for him to be able to take and make 12 to 15 feet away from the rim jumpers. That's it. That was my expectation for Ben Simmons this year. But the fact that he still can't do that and hasn't made a single jump shot outside of the paint this year for the Philadelphia 76ers, it's let me down big time, because we all know that he would be so much better overall of a player if he was able to make and take those shots, and not even just for him, but for the Philadelphia 76ers as a whole, because they're not going to be able to compete with the best teams in the East until he can make those shots. That's part of the reason why he gets manhandled by Boston and Toronto so effortlessly. They know how to guard Ben Simmons, and that's basically not guarding him until he gets in the paint, or just keeping him out of the paint in the first place. I don't know when we're going to see him get a jumper. Who knows if it's going to happen at some point this year. He's still putting the work in after the games during the practices, but just for him not to be able to take 12 to 15 feet jumpers, I don't understand how that's possible. But that's it for all of the players who have disappointed me so far this season. Let me know if anyone has disappointed you down in the comment section below. But of course, we still have a lot more to cover that went on in the NBA yesterday, so now let's just get into all of that. And first off, the brightest thing that happened in the NBA yesterday was, of course, Derrick Rose going off for a career high 50 points against the team that waived him pretty much immediately last year, the Utah Jazz. And this was probably the most emotional performance in NBA history. The best 50-point game I have ever seen, that's for sure. I mean, what player goes through as much as D Rose has gone through? 4 knee surgery, contemplates retirement in the middle of the season last year, then has a game like this where he looks like his old vintage self before all of the misfortune struck. And for the younger viewers, those of you who might be kind of new to the NBA, this is why so many people have such an immense amount of respect for Rose. And this is also who Derrick was on a nightly basis before all of his injuries. And I didn't ever think I would see a game like this from him again. No one did, but it just goes to show you that if you work hard and stick with something, that good things will start to happen for you. And that's exactly what happened for Rose last night. I mean, this game was just pure motivation right there. And the Los Angeles Lakers got another win, and they really needed this one too, because if they would have lost last night, it wouldn't have been pretty. And they did have a 17-point lead at the end of the first quarter, even having a 13-point lead heading into the fourth as well. But despite all of that, they were still barely able to pull out the 114-113 win over Dallas. Anyways, after the game, LeBron James gave his take on the Derrick Rose game yesterday, and he pretty much hit the nail right on the head with everything that he had to say.
What Derrick Rose did tonight, I don't know if a lot of y'all ever got an opportunity to hang with the guy. What he gives to his mind and his body, just to play one game is something that I watched, being his teammate for the time that we were in Cleveland together. And when you talk about perseverance, that's the true definition of it. You talk about a guy who's I think he's the youngest MVP to ever play in this game, and to have the battles with his injuries, to be able to come back, and no matter what everybody else was talking about, because at the majority is always people who never stepped into the arena, had so many things to say bad about him and what he should do, and he should do this and do that. For him to set a career high tonight in a win in Minnesota, I think that's unbelievable. I think every kid that you don't have to play sports. Any kid that's going through anything in life about, adversity and triumph and trying to just get over the hump, you can look at that performance by Derrick Rose tonight, and that's why our game is so unbelievable, because, even when a superhero is knocked down, he's still a superhero at the end of the day, and Derrick Rose showed why he's still a superhero. All right, now get out of my face.
Like I said, I don't think anyone can say it better than what LeBron James just said. Back to the Lakers though, it's good that they were able to win this game, as a lot of their losses have come in really tight situations where they just weren't able to close it out. San Antonio twice, and then Minnesota as well. They just have trouble getting over that hump in closing minutes, which is a common symptom for younger teams. Last night though was a step in the right direction. They did blow the lead, but the important part is that they held on to get the win. Now let's see if they can build off this even more. And the Warriors defeated the Pelicans. DeMarcus Cousins defeating his old team. And I do feel some type of way about him, like trash talking to Anthony Davis and the coach of the Pelicans after the game, like they did him wrong. I feel some type of way about that, but I'm gonna let it slide right now. I'm gonna completely let this slide. Stephen Curry though is still on fire. It's still the point this year where we just expect him to hit at least 5 games in a 3 bare minimum, and we don't even think about it. That's how crazy he has been so far this year. 37 points, 7 of 11 shooting from deep, and 9 assists as well. 131-121 the final score. The Nuggets avoided a pretty nasty loss last night, as they were on the brink of losing to the Bulls in overtime, but Paul Millsap, who hasn't really done much this season for the Nuggets, came up huge in the closing seconds, giving Denver a 108-107 win. Nikola Jokic with 22 points, 12 rebounds, and 9 assists. But let's talk about the rookie Wendell Carter Jr., showing glimpses to Chicago fans of what's to come in the future, as he had the best game of his career easily so far. 25 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 blocks, and 3 steals. He's gonna fit in nicely next to Lauri Markkanen once he returns. I tried to watch the game in the first quarter. I really did, but then I came to the conclusion that literally anything else was better to watch than this game. I was just wasting my time, as you already knew that the Spurs were going to win this one without a problem, and they did. 120-90. DeRozan with 25 points on 10 of 12 shooting from the field. Anyways, that is going to bring us to today's player of the day, where you guys can vote for who you think was the best player in the league yesterday by clicking the little eye icon in the top right hand corner of the video. Just remember though, the only players whose team won are eligible to win player of the day. And yesterday, of course, that player was Kawhi Leonard, and his 31 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 steals. That's gonna do it for today's video though. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, go ahead and subscribe to the channel with post notifications turned on so you don't miss out on more daily NBA videos. Thank you once again for watching though. You guys already know that you are the real MVPs, but until tomorrow, I am out of here. Peace!